Alrighty then. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Tuesday night Habits of Health class. Tonight I've got a couple of things going on. First off, I'd like to introduce Carmen and David Jones. They'd like to share some information with us, and then from there, I would like to go right on into the Habits of Health class. And tonight the class is going to be presented by Dr. Buddy Allen. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share. And Carmen and Dave, would you please go ahead with what you've got to share with us tonight?
Go ahead. Hi, I'm Carmen, and this is my husband David, and I'm happy to be doing Take Shape for Life. I was diagnosed with gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with my youngest daughter, whom today turns 20. I have been fighting with my weight for a very long time, approximately about 30 years. I have started Take Shape for Life 4 months ago, and I have lost over 44 pounds.
When I was looking into this program, I was very concerned for my wife's health, and she was actually thinking about the possibility of going with one of the surgical alternatives to try to lose weight. And because she's diabetic, I've always been a little bit concerned about the connection between, diabetes and weight loss, because I always knew, there's sort of I had the knowledge that you had to get your blood sugar down to a certain point so your body would start to burn fat. And the challenge with that is for somebody who's diabetic, it makes it nearly impossible for you to actually have a low blood sugar, because then you end up with low blood sugar events that turn around and be, some sort of a worse health problem. So one of the things I track, I have the job where I'm supposed to copy down her blood sugar numbers so she can take them and show them to the doctor. And this first chart is actually showing what Carmen's blood sugar numbers were, and they're not terrible. Anywhere from 100 to 200 is about the average that's here, and there's lots of people who have diabetes where this was a lot worse. But the significant thing for me was when I took her blood sugar numbers after she started the program. And this slide shows what the blood sugar numbers look like since she's been on the program. So for me, this is like a silver bullet. It was the solution that I'd been searching for many years, where somebody who has diabetes can actually control your blood sugar numbers in a way to where you can lose weight, to the point where she has actually successfully been able to lose 44 pounds and is thinner now than she has been for 30 years, as long as I've known her.
That's awesome.
So that's our story.
And it's a great one too. And I really appreciate you, allowing us to take a look at that. I think it's a phenomenal accomplishment for Carmen, and it just goes to prove that you can significantly lose weight and get into the fat burning mode, even though years past you've not been successful. Thank you again. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Buddy Allen. Dr. Allen is also a certified health coach, and please take it away.
Well, congratulations, Carmen. That's pretty fabulous. It's always fun to see success stories. In fact, that's probably the best part about what we get to do is see people's lives change. And I love the charts because, numbers don't lie. The numbers, I would imagine, your blood sugar going down, your energy is probably going through the roof about this point. And so congratulations, good job. And I'm excited to see how you're doing, in another 6 months, a year, 10 years, and even more. So that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing that. So, oh, crud. Let me make sure I share my screen first here. Sorry. All right. Gonna share my screen. Maybe if it plays nice. All right, we got it. You guys see that, right? Give me a nod.
Yes.
All right, perfect. You know what? Me and technology, I know just enough to get in trouble, and I can't tell you how many presentations I've done over the years where everything works perfect up until just moments before, and then stuff falls apart. So I'm glad everything's functioning for us right now. But let me put this on the full screen. All right. So really this evening, we're kind of moving through, we're about 2/3 of the way through our 12-week program. Today is week 8. And really, today, it says making exercise a reality, but really in general, what we're trying to do today is help people understand how, I don't know about you, but does anyone, raise your hand, does anyone want to have a better metabolism? Does anyone want to have a faster metabolism? A metabolism that, you know, you get to a point where you can kind of eat things that you enjoy and still manage to maintain a healthy weight and to maintain and just feel good. That really is what about tonight, you know, tonight's class is kind of what we're dialing in. And so what we want to do is I really want to help paint this picture. And I don't remember if I shared last time I spoke, but recently I started reading a book, and I love it. It's called The Compound Effect. And in the book, the author shares something that I knew the answer to, but and I'd heard it years and years ago. But it was this, and probably most of you have heard it. It's if I were to offer you $5 million today, or a penny doubled every day for 31 days, what would you take? All right, and most of us, especially the first time I heard this, I was in high school, and obviously I chose the $5 million today, when in reality, that penny doubled every day for 31 days comes out to like $10.5 million. But the interesting thing about this that the author pointed out was, you know what, all the way up until day 26 or 27, that penny being doubled every day is still well below that $5 million mark. All right, and so if we think about this with respect to our health, it's in the last few days of that doubling that makes all the difference with that doubling penny. Within, you know, again, 27 days into that whole experiment and you're well below the 5 million, most people would be like, oh, dang it, you know, I made the wrong choice. But with respect to our health, it really is about those compounding effects of good choices over a long period of time that make a tremendous difference. The hard part of, and the reason most people fail with diets or with, you know, with doing things on their own is they make it through 31 days or they make it through, you know, they go for some time and they're like, oh, I'm just not seeing the results I want. And I would imagine, Carmen, at some point, or there have been points over the last several months where you probably didn't feel like doing the program, even though you were starting to see results. But the miraculous part is later. It's in time. The more time we give ourselves where we're making good choices and we're learning better disciplines and we're just improving ourselves, what happens is down the road, we are going to see a massive difference. That penny doubled over 31 days ends up being like $10.5 million or roughly thereabouts. So it's in that last few days of doubling that it not only goes from below the 5 million to well above it. So I want you to always keep that in mind as we talk about these habits of health. These habits are every bit as important to us as that penny doubling every day. Okay, so we're going to kind of dive into this. Now, again, this week we're out of Dr. Anderson's Habits of Health. We're in chapter 16. And out of the companion guide, it's lesson 12. I hope everyone who's on this is kind of following along, because while we share highlights of what's in Dr. A's book, there's a lot of good information there. And I would highly encourage everyone to kind of just peel through that. If you haven't read it yet, make sure you read through it after we're done going over this tonight, just so you understand where to find this in the future and as you're moving through. So this first part here, all right, we're kind of dialing in this TEE stands for total energy expenditure. The BMR, basal metabolic rate, thermic effect of food, and physical activity level. All right, these are all important things for us to understand, okay? That's what we were talking about, last week. That is essentially our, what makes up our metabolism is a lot of this stuff. All right, now where you look at NEAT, last week we were talking about the non-exercise activity. Those are incredibly important. But this week, as we start to build muscle, or we start talking about actually doing activities to help gain muscle, this is where we're going to make the biggest difference with respect to our metabolism. All right, while our basal metabolic rate is kind of a fixed number for where we are right now, as we start to build lean muscle, we immediately start to increase our metabolism. As we start to make healthier choices of food and the actual foods we're eating, we will also burn more energy than we would without it. And I wasn't able to watch last week's, but and this may have been shared, but if it since I'm not sure, I'm going to share it anyways. The thermic effect of food is really kind of amazing. So the reason we talk about eating healthy proteins, healthy vegetables, limiting, very much so, limiting carbohydrates, fats, making sure we're making good choices with our healthy fats, is this reason. The protein we eat, so if we ate 100 calories of a good lean protein, we burn up to as much as 30% of those calories just to break down that protein. Okay, so if I ate 100 calories of protein, I might only be actually getting 70 calories that's going into my body to use for energy, because I had to burn 30 of those calories just to break it down. Now let's compare that to carbohydrates. Now, depending on what types of carbohydrates, that same 100 calories, it takes only anywhere from maybe 3 to 10% of those calories to break down carbohydrates. And obviously the refined carbohydrates, it takes probably the 3 to 5%, and then maybe a good healthy carb is going to be the 10%. So that means out of that 100 calories, I have 90 calories going into my body that's going to either be processed, burned, or stored. Okay, and now this is just a small number we're talking about. Now with respect to fat, fat is from 0 to 3%. So if I take in 100 calories of fat, I'm only burning, again, either nothing or up to 3% or so of those calories to actually process it. So you can understand now, if we start balancing our plate, with the 9-inch plate, and we start eating the right amount of healthy proteins, a good amount of healthy vegetables with a lot of fiber that take a lot of energy to break it down, you could see how the thermic effect of food is going to significantly increase, and the calories we burn from the food we're eating we're going to burn a lot more of them. So make sure that that's important. And now physical activity level, that's we started it last week with our non-activity or non-exercise activities. Tonight we're going to dial in more specifically going to the gym, planned whether it be the gym or going for a run, maybe a hike, planned activities. That's kind of what we're going to go into right now. So hold on, I need to move these pictures real quick so I can see everything. There we go. The keys, here's what we want to really hit home is we want to increase that metabolism, our energy expenditure. For every pound of lean muscle we build or put onto our body, we're burning anywhere from 50 to 70 calories a day more doing absolutely nothing. So if we can lose, let's say we lose 15, 20 pounds of fat off of our bodies, and then we put on 5 or 10 pounds of muscle, we've significantly increased our metabolism there. And again, the resting rate at which we burn calories. We want to improve our heart health. We want to build our lung health. We want good, healthy lungs. And we also want to have a good, healthy support system, our bones, our muscles. Really one of the best things we can do to maintain, and this is especially important for women, to maintain good, healthy, strong bones is to do weight-resistant exercises. Things that pull on our bones. Our muscles attached to the bones, the more weight we pull, the more those muscles pull on the bones, the more they're going to get strong or stay strong. And then obviously the good, healthy diet, which we've already talked about. Now, hold on, play nice. Why is my, sorry about that. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so here, now, so last week we talked about our our six, well, what the heck is that called? I totally just blanked on it. Our 6 S's of success. That's what it is. Sorry. We've got our stance, you know, and this is just a wonderful little chart for us to kind of take a look at. And maybe initially, as we're trying to improve, using a diary of sorts, which is what this is probably one of the very best ways we can determine if we are making the most out of our non-exercise activities. You know, normally it's within our nature to find things to do to conserve energy. This is a chart to help us find ways to actually burn more energy and be less efficient. You know, rather than sitting to do things, if we can stand to do them, let's do that and start, you know, maybe we even realize, you know, I spend, you know, 3 hours in the morning standing every day, but maybe I could spend another few hours in the evenings. Using good posture, strolling around. So this is just a way for us to really monitor what we're doing, when we're doing it, and then maybe look to see where we can do it more. All right, charts and diaries, if you will, like this are a wonderful, wonderful way to kind of help us. A lot of times we think we're doing things more than we actually are. So if we journal it for a bit, it's going to help us really dial that in and know for sure, you know, this is what I'm actually doing for my actual activities. So just keep that in mind. All right. So the benefits, and here's the benefits of exercise activity is, again, essentially we are trying to optimize our bodies. We're trying to build muscle. Something I just mentioned earlier tonight in a class I was teaching was every year, almost exactly, give or take a little bit, but every year our body replaces every cell in our body. So literally every year we are a completely new person. So if we can develop good health, you know, so we've already talked up to this point about making health, you know, understanding food, making healthier choices, eating the correct balance of food, keeping our insulin levels low, exercise, you know, starting to move more last week. And now we're talking about specifically exercises. The more muscle we build, the more active we are, the healthier everything is. Our immune system's stronger, our bones are stronger, our ability to do anything in life is going to be better. In fact, one of the great things about regular exercise, here's the thing, being alive, we're going to get sick. We're going to have injuries. Things are going to happen from time to time. The wonderful thing about regular exercise and having a good, healthy, strong body is we will recover faster from all of those. Even from unexpected surgeries and things like that, we will recover better. So essentially, we're setting ourselves up to live and be the best that we can be. So let's make sure we make the most of that. Now, I love this example that Dr. Anderson puts in the book, and this is just from a simple walking routine. And it's kind of neat. Around here where I'm at, there's a lot of big corporate offices, and so frequently I see people walking on their breaks. But look at what this does. Just a regular walking routine lowers the risk of depression, eliminates needs for many medications, reduces breast cancer by 30%, and increases the survival rate by 70%. It lowers blood pressure. It helps prevent injuries to your cardiovascular system. It helps keep, you know, one of the reasons we get high blood pressure is because we're never challenging those vessels. They stay, you know, they're supposed to be flexible. And when we don't exercise, they just get kind of rigid and hard. And so our blood pressure increases. By regular exercise, just walking, it helps to expand those vessels, helps to keep them flexible, helps to keep it healthy. And then obviously this bottom one here, increasing our survival rate from heart attacks by 80%. Again, a simple walking routine makes tremendous benefits to our bodies. Okay, again, continued here. Just to start, initially, this is where that compound effect that I was talking about earlier really comes into play. Just start. Okay, begin by walking just a few minutes. If we weren't walking before, let's just get the routine of walking, maybe just 5 minutes. Okay, let's just get going. And then slowly start to increase things. You know, keep a nice even pace. Get to where eventually you're working up to about 20,000 steps. All right, which that's a significant 20,000 steps, 10 miles. That's wonderful. And then just continually increase things. What happens at that point is, as you know, most people, when in fact, guys are classic for this. We may not have gone to the gym in 10 years, but when we go back to the gym the first time, we think, oh, hey, I used to lift this. I used to be able to bench 240 pounds. And we lay down and we rack the weight up and we try and do the same thing we left off 10 years ago. Promise you, it never works, and it never works out pretty. So, really ease into things. Take your time. Don't get injured. If you at one time were an athlete and you want to get back to that, wonderful. That's a fantastic goal, but ease into it. Take it nice and easy. Start by just moving more. Then start doing planned exercise. Get in the routine and rhythm of exercising regularly. Get your body's ability to kind of recover. Just get things moving. All right. I love this here. When you look at the studies that are out there, the University of Florida basically said it's taking those, that exercise, taking your joints to the full range of motion helps to improve, again, the bone density, the muscle strength, overall function, and a result, you're building more muscle fibers. You're starting to develop. You're starting to define your body in the ways that you want to. The first part of our first goal, and I should probably make this more clear. If it depends on what stage of your journey you're on. Again, this is 8 weeks into our 12-week program. If you are still right in the middle of fat burn and you have more weight to go, stay on the program. Stay on the 5 and 1. Ease into a more active lifestyle. Slowly ease into exercise. One of the biggest mistakes most people make is they do wonderful. They lose a bunch of weight, and then they think, man, I did that without even doing any exercise. I'll bet you if I start exercising hard, I'm going to lose even faster. And unfortunately, it's the exact opposite happens. All of a sudden, they start plateauing or they start slowing down. They get discouraged. So this is about the right timing. Learning how to exercise or implementing that comes as you get much, much closer to your goal weight. Okay. It's an absolute habit of health. Exercise is wonderful for every part of your body and your body's function, but it's not very good at helping you lose weight. It's good for your mind. It's one of the probably most effective things you could do to help healthfully manage stress. It's good for your joints, your bones. It's good for the cartilage in your joints. It's good for the muscles. You name it, it's good for everything. Your lungs, again, it's good for everything that we have. It's just not that great for to help us lose weight. So make sure you do this at the right time. Talk with your health coaches to help, so they can help you know when the right time is. So here's what we want to do as we ease into this. Okay, so we've maybe started a walking routine. We've started plugging along in that, and now it's time to graduate. Now what we're trying to do is we want to start doing things to literally challenge those muscles. And if I kind of want to point out in the beginning here, change things up. If you walk one day, then maybe the next day you do something, maybe a brisk walk, and then maybe a slower walk. Change things up. Don't do the exact same thing the exact same way every day. What we want to do is have a little bit of muscle confusion, make things interesting for yourself. So basically, in building muscle, we want to take those muscles through a full range of motion, slowly, in a controlled way, so we don't get injured. We want to hold those contractions. We want to basically challenge those muscles to where we kind of get that burn going. We get the fatigue. We start making them have to break down so they build back up. All right. Then what we want to do is just choose a set of 5, maybe put together a small routine. And the reason you want to put together the routine is you want to make sure, I don't know about you, but I've found that myself, if I'm trying to make it up after I get to the gym, it makes it really easy for me to be like, oh, I'm just going to, I might want to say I'm going to put in a good workout, but if I don't have it planned before I go, I don't usually put in as good of a workout. I'll leave things off because, hey, I'll be like, oh, I'm tired already. Whereas if I have a written routine down, I'll do a lot more than I would do if I'm making it up as I go. Okay, so put together, choose 5 different things. Choose something to strengthen your chest, your shoulders, your arms. Okay, obviously you want to tighten up core muscles, and maybe make those routines to where you go through in a systematic way to make sure you're hitting all the areas of your body. Don't be like most people and avoid leg day. Leg days are hard, they're not fun, but your legs are huge muscle groups in your body. In fact, some of the biggest muscle groups you have are in your legs, your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes. Make sure you're working those out. Those are going to do a lot to help keep your back healthy, keep your whole body healthy for that matter. Don't skip leg day. So again, just get in there, start slow and consistent contractions. Hold them for 4 seconds. Go into Dr. A's book because he has a bunch of different things broken down. These are just a few examples we pulled out and put on the presentation for today. But and also, if there's one more thing I'd like to make a plug for is if you're not familiar with the gym, I strongly recommend getting a coach. It's just like this program here, having a coach to help you on the program is so incredibly powerful. A coach is going to help you do things the right way, in the right order, for the right amount of time. He's going to help you maximize the benefits of what you're trying to do. Okay, so as you continue through this, just know, just like on this program, as we get healthier and healthier, we're raising the level of our goals and where we're wanting to go. The same goes with exercise. As you get better at walking, increase it. Take it to the next level. What can you do next? Where can you go? Where do you want to go? So make sure that you're moving forward that way as well. Now, we've already kind of talked about this. The whole reason we're trying to build muscles now is because, one, we want to be the best we can be, and to do that, exercise is just a wonderful way to do it. Again, like I said before, exercise is wonderful for everything. Literally every function in our body. It's good for your digestion. It's good for your mind. It's good for your blood flow. It's good for everything. If you can think about it, exercise is going to help make it better. So if you just make small goals, ease into it, find a coach, find a workout buddy, find the right support system to help take you to where you want to go. Our whole goal, again, with exercise is not really to lose the weight. What it is trying to raise that metabolism so we can more effectively manage our weight. The last thing I want to share with you before we end this evening is, and this is something that we all do. We all, you've heard about the big muscle bound guys, those guys that are huge, massive hunks of meat at the gym, and they can't hardly reach back to scratch the small of their back. It's because they don't stretch properly. They get muscle bound. So make sure at the end of any of your exercise routines, even walking, after you've warmed up and the muscles are, the blood's pumping and you're nice and warmed up, take a good 10 minutes at the end and stretch. Stretch out your hamstrings, stretch out your arms, you name it. Take the time to go through it. You don't want to stretch cold muscles. You want to warm up first. You want to take those nice, never bounce, don't bounce. Don't try and be like, oh, if I get one hard bounce, I can actually touch my toes. No, nice and easy, move through it nice and slow. Remember, really, it's the longer you hold it and the more frequently you do it, that's what gives your muscles the time to lengthen and actually stretch those muscle fibers. So good long 30 seconds to a minute as far as a hold, and then repeat that again and again. Take your time. In fact, by stretching properly, you're going to prevent a lot of injuries. You're going to feel a lot better. You're going to have better balance. And, the long and short of it is you're going to be healthier. You're going to be happier. So thank you for being on tonight. Our whole goal with our entire program and these habits of health is we want you at the right time to move through the right steps to where you can be the best that you can be. So you can do the things that you want to do and feel, feel wonderful, love what you see in the mirror, love how you feel, and just love everything about your life. Be ready and able to go and experience whatever it is that you want to experience. So thank you for joining us tonight. Join us again next week, same time, and we look forward to seeing you again.
Absolutely wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Allen. We really appreciate that. And thanks again, Carmen and David. We appreciate that wonderful 2-minute story that you had. And just to reiterate, yes, again, the same time next week, 6:30 Pacific, and hopefully we'll see you again with the Habits of Health. Have a good evening, guys.
Thank you.
You bet. Good night.
Good night.